Hi there, and in this video we are going to be checking out Godot 4.4 Dev 6 that, as you can see, was released just yesterday. So well, this is indeed Dev 6, so probably we're going to be having more releases and more stable releases quite soon, because if we check basically the previous versions, we can see that usually what at least Godot does is firstly we have some dev snapshots, okay, and then after the dev snapshots, let me show you. For example, here we have 4.3 beta 1, but previously we had dev 6. So after devs they come betas, okay, and after betas, for example, 4.3 beta 1, 4.3 beta 2, 4.3 beta 3, and then we have release candidates, and after maybe 1-2 release candidates, I think that the official version is then release. Here we see 4.3 release candidate 2, release candidate 3, and then 4.3 official. Okay, so indeed we are a little bit closer to 4.4, the official version. Now this is something amazing that Godot added, basically camera 3D preview in Inspector. This video over here demonstrates it perfectly, okay, but then I will actually show it inside of the engine. But basically for when you were positioning your cameras in a 3D space, it was sometimes a little bit complicated because you weren't able to preview the final result. But well, then it seems that in the camera, in the Inspector, you will now have this preview window, okay, so that's amazing. Now also in terms of 3D, now collision shape 3D are going to be having debug color customization. We also have more stuff that if you want you can read over here with CSG implementation. We also have runtime WAV files. Also now in curves, previously it seems that you could only use normalized values, basically between 0 and 1, but well, now you can go with greater maximum values, and minimum and maximum domain can also be much bigger actually. So basically this is meant to give, let me see here where it says like flexibility here, greater flexibility in some projects if you are using curves. And well, as usual, there is even more things that you can check out if you really want to. I will leave a link to this blog post in the description down below. But I believe that probably the most interesting thing here is this camera 3D preview in Inspector, okay? So it's actually the first thing that I want to check out of this version. But well, first, as usual, at the bottom you have here the download. So let's download the Windows version in my case. And here I have it. This is the application, the actual application. This one is the console. So let me open the application itself. Let's give it a second. And here we find this. So let me go ahead, create a new project. This is 4.4 Dev 6. Let me just save this in my downloads. And I will create and edit this project. So here we are. So let's actually create a 3D scene over here. Let me add the environment to the scene as well as the sun, and let's also add here a mesh instance, and I'll let's say a capsule mesh over there. And now let me add the camera. There we have it. And yes, indeed we have here in the Inspector this window over here that will allow us to preview the changes to the actual camera. So I will move it back, I will move it up, and for example let's also rotate it a little bit, okay, or actually here something like this. Let's move it for example here. Let's now rotate it to the left like this, maybe also a little bit like this. No, I want to move it sort of here a little bit more. So yes, indeed this is super helpful. And you can also make this a little bit bigger so that you can even preview things a little bit better. And remember that you can always click over here, make floating, and well, here you can position this in another monitor if you wanted to. But well, I was trying to check if there was an option to actually make floating, but just this window over here of the camera. But I don't think that it currently exists, because it would be amazing to, for example, dock a specific window, no, right here or right here or wherever the user wanted, to preview just the camera, okay? So just to have a tab specifically for this feature, because I think it is quite useful. But well, yes, this is the most interesting thing. And now what I also want to do is to add here a collision, so that we see this of the debug color. So collision shape 3D, let's create it as a capsule as well. The size should be okay, yes. And well, we have debug color. So first of all, let's of course enable the visible collision shapes. And with the camera, yes, let's now actually use this feature and move this down a little bit. Maybe something like this. And the rotation, let's also rotate it a little bit like this, maybe. Yes. So let me play this scene and let's see what we end up having. We should have an, I think it's going to be a blue outline of the collision shape or something like that. Okay, right now, no, we don't. Okay, let's see this. I don't know if this has to, no, but everything's okay. Oh yes, but of course we firstly, let's add this to actually reparent it to something like, I know, an area 3D, for example. Area 3D, I wanted to type, and let's put this inside and this inside, so there it should be. So now let's try this again. Okay, yes, and there we see this outline over there. We have an error, I don't know why. Node not found, and I don't know what node is not finding. But yes, we can, for example, increase the alpha, and we can also make this a little bit bigger. So let me just make this slightly bigger. We can also see that here the color is also applied. Let me just make this slightly bigger so we can actually see the difference. Maybe something like this. I think it's going to be enough. So there we have it. Okay, quite good, this feature. And the good thing is that, for example, I know this could be the enemy, and I could also have the player. Okay, and let's say that the player is going to be, yes, exactly this one, but the enemy could be something like a red collision shape or something like that. Let me move this to the right. Okay, and there we have it, but firstly, they have changed at the same time. I don't know if this is because the resources are also being shared. Yes. So let's make this one unique, and this is the player, so let's make this some kinds of better looking blue, and this one let's make it red, something like this, so that there we will have the enemy on red and the player on blue. So that's something that could be sometimes helpful. Okay, so well, make sure that you check out this version. I'm going to be leaving a link to the blog post in the description down below. Unfortunately, I'm also seeing this error over here, but I don't get node not found. I don't really know why this is popping up over here, but well, maybe if I clear this up and play again, no, it is still doing that. But well, quite interesting, tiny new features will add a lot to the final version. So as usual, as soon as there is any kind of news, I am going to be posting it over here. See you in the next one, and bye bye.